Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nik Sumayyah binti Nik Abdull Muhaimin, and I am the representative of Group 5. So today I will be presenting about our research with the topic the influence of social media on the thoughts and souls of Muslims. So I will be presenting about this topic along with the other presenter, which is Noor, Adriana, Hadirah Binti Hatta, where we will elaborate more on the introduction, the issues related on the influence of social media on Muslims' thoughts, the impacts of social media, a few solutions on how to solve this problem, and lastly is the conclusion. Akidah in terms of language means a knot of faith or a strong belief or hold, while akidah in terms of terminology is a definite belief where the final decision is not mixed with suspicion or doubt in the believers. Akidah Islam, in the other hand, means a belief and confidence in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala as our God and belief in the pillars of faith. So the faith is based on Quran and Sunnah. Every Muslim must know, learn and deepen their knowledge of faith to prevent such things or actions that can lead to the deviation of Akidah towards Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala from happening. So based on our discussions and surveys, we came out with our topic for our research, which is closely related to Akidah, which is about the influence of social media on the thoughts and souls of Muslims nowadays. Information technology with internet access is a phenomenon that has facilitated many things in the contemporary world, and it has had a significant impact on most people's lives and endeavors. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and a few others allow people to create and share information, ideas, career interests, and other kinds of expressions through those apps. Social media is constantly having considerable influences on the entire globe, not only having negative consequences on socio-economic and cultural settings, but they also have a few negative consequences in religious patterns of people's life. Despite the great progress made by religions in the use of this social media, there are certain reasons why its usage poses a threat to religions, such as Islam. It is still a threat to Islam as a whole religion and a way of life for people, since it has not left anything loose or unprotected. So thus, the main objective of our research is to discuss the influence of social media, whether they are having a good or bad influence on the thoughts and souls of Muslims nowadays. One of the biggest influences of social media, which is becoming more common among Muslims, are the emergence of different social movements in the name of human rights. So in our discussion, we take feminism as an example. The feminism movement is gaining more popularity among the users of social media nowadays. Teenagers are not the only ones who are susceptible to the distorted ideas of this movement. Instead, educated adults are also being influenced with this way of thinking. The Muslim community does not agree with the ideologies advocated by the feminist community because of its divergence from the Islamic teaching, not due to feminism is seen as a way to empower women, because we know that Islam itself is a religion which highly respect and empower women. According to the Qarawiyyin project, one of the greatest promoters of rejecting prophetic narrations or hadiths has originated from the self-proclaimed Muslim feminist movement. They cast doubt towards the hadith and try to interpret the hadith themselves through the non-patriarchal view. According to them, the view on hadith are largely biased against women and is more in favor towards men. And in addition, a Pakistani-American writer named Asma Barlas released her latest book, which is a revised edition of Believing Women in Islam, claiming to translate it from the Holy Quran from the non-patriarchal perspective. So this so-called Muslim feminist lightly and easily invalidates the scholars of Islam, and even worse, they encourage other women to do the same. So this further proof the agency for us as responsible Muslims to do our part and prevent these issues from being worsened.
The impact of social media will be discussed in 2 points, which are the Muslim fashion and also behavior. So for the first point is the impact of social media on the Muslim fashion. The adolescent or the teenage nowadays are easily influenced by the latest trend and fashion on social media such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Social media has influenced both the teenage boys and also girls. The teenagers are influenced by the social media on the eye-catchy fashion displayed on the social media. Most teenagers have their favorite celebrities and influencers as their role model. The latest style and fashion will be followed by mostly the teenagers, as they think that not wearing the latest trend will be called outdated person. The issue occurs when these teenagers updated to the trend is they do not take care of their aura accordingly, wearing tight clothes and leggings and expose their neck when wearing scarf and many more. This trend has become norms among the teenagers and makes them think that it is okay to wear it like this and so on. In Surah An-Noor, chapter 24, verse 31, Allah has emphasized the issue of aura. Teaching of Islam must be prioritized in any style of fashion a person wants to follow. The second point is the impact of social media on Muslim behavior. Social media, specifically TikTok, is famous nowadays for its challenges and latest trend or song by singing, dancing, and more. However, there are users among Muslims, particularly women, would dance and do explicit behavior without feeling shame to obtain followers and a huge like audience. Islam has never prohibited Muslims to entertain in our practice, but it must be done accordingly. It is undoubtedly prohibited in Islam if Muslims entertain by displaying their aurat and dance sensually. Ladies who love to participate in Zumba or dance activities are still encouraged, but only can be done among themselves in a private place. Not to mention if they decide to share the video globally on social media platforms such as TikTok. If we observe the disintegration of faith for the sake of trend, that might promote them to the point that they are prepared to sacrifice their self-esteem and family dignity. Worse, when they are punished, they show the bad behavior or bad attitude in their video, which cause harm to Muslim religion and morality. The life of Muslim toward the end of this age must have been wealthier and more beautiful, but it has become chaotic because of the community ignorance of the Jewish agenda, which is actively destroying Islamic religious institutions, as indicated in the hadith by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radhiyallahu anhu, said that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "You will all follow in the footsteps of people before you, inch by inch, so that if they enter the lizard hole once, you will still follow them." We ask, if they were Jews and Christians, the word of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who else but them? So now we come up with the solution. So every problem and issue must have and followed by the solution. The solution can be taken by all the individual, and in this presentation we will focus on two aspects, which are the parents and also the individuals themselves. The first point is the parents need to solve and limit the use of social media in their children. This need to be done when the child is still young, because at that age, the child is easier to control and shape. Furthermore, children become accustomed to what their parents teach them during their childhood until they are adult. Therefore, it is important for the parent to observe their children from an early age so that social media does not damage the soul of young Muslim children. The second point is the individuals responsible to solve this issue. One of the things that an individual can do is by preoccupy themselves with beneficial activities such as spending time with family, recreation, and attending religious talk. When a person is preoccupied with this beneficial thing, they can reduce their time to surf the social media. In addition to avoiding the bad influences from social media, the individual will also get reward from God from doing good things. Besides, the solution that an individual can do is by being in a good circle. As we all know, human beings tend to be influenced by peers, so it is specifically important that we choose with whom we are friends so that they do not give a bad influence like the bad influence from social media.
To conclude, the social media indeed plays a great role in shaping the lives of Muslims. Thus, we as a responsible Muslim need to use social media as best as we can in order to distribute our da'wah and use social media as the application of good values by giving beneficial information. So this is the correct way of using social media to produce a better peaceful society that is happy and blessed by Allah SWT. So I think that's all from our group. Thank you for lending us your ears.